what's up everybody? How are you doing? This is your favorite Nigerian American vlogger on YouTube, aka the Nigerian Nomad. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. So today I want to just kind of take you guys through a glimpse of the second planting cycle of our farm. So the first cycle we had predominantly maize and some cassava that we done, and then plantain. So a lot of the cassava was just to kind of pass time, and now we're clearing the maize, and now we're planting cassava and plantain, and maybe some watermelon, a little bit of maize, and maybe a little bit of potatoes. So as you guys can see behind me here, this is the cassava stems. So what's great about cassava is that when you harvest the cassava from the root, you can also sell the stems. So you have two sources of revenue there. So we actually bought these. This would be our own first cycle. And then after we plant these, we would never have to buy cassava stems again. So we can expand the farms this way. And what they do is they cut this into multiple pieces and they literally dig and then plant it into the ground. So that's what all of this is. We plan to do like 10 acres worth of cassava, and typically, I'm trying to remember, typically 25 of these bundles would cover an acre. So again, I'm just giving you guys a tour. Also, we had to come back and bring the tractor to come and plow and mix all the land, because weeding is such a huge part of farming, weed management. So as you guys can see, a lot of the farm areas looked like this for the areas that we were not planting on or that we didn't use. So we had to get the tractor to come and plow. So here is like a before and here is an after. So yeah, you guys can see what it looks like back there. And then once we plow it, it looks like this. These are the maize corn stalks that we have harvested that's dried off. So we're using it for mulch. And then the plowing also, you guys can see how the soil is. I think it just rained, so the soil is very rich, very dark. So we're going to now plant on all of these. So that's what's happening on the farm today. So we had a few things happening. So this time I made a mistake last time, which is like I planted things at different times, which was like not a good idea. So this time what I want to do is I want to plant and weed the whole place at the same time, plant the whole place at the same time, apply fertilizers at the same time, apply manure at the same time. It would really help us manage labor, staff, and timing instead of spreading it out. But the reason why we spread it out last time was because people paid for farming in different times. And so next time I'm only going to kick off a project, and once we've finished raising money for all the farm, and then I'll start. Instead of doing 2 acres here, 1 acre there, it was just not efficient. So anyways, so part of this process, we're bringing in plantains. So you guys will see the cars that are pulling out the plantains. You guys will see how they're pulling them out. So those are called suckers, and we're gonna plant those throughout the land, which they've actually already started planting. If you guys can see it, you guys will see that these little things over there are like the little mini suckers that they're planting. And then you guys can also see the ones that have fruited. You guys will see an example of that, the ones that have fruited, how they look. And then you guys can also get a sense of like when they're high, what they look like. And you guys can also now see the suckers that's beside the plantains. Anyways, I am falling more and more in love with plantain at this point. Another thing that we're doing is pineapples. So I'm actually waiting for them to deliver the shipment of the pineapple suckers and the rest of the cassava stem. But anyways, let me take you guys on a more tour around the farm so you guys can see what's happening. I'm going to show you guys the manure that we gathered, and I'll show you guys some of the plantain stuff. Here is some of the corn that we harvested. We actually did not have a good harvest of maize at all. There's a lot of lessons. If you guys want to watch the video on all the lessons that we've learned, check the description. I'll add the link to that video so you can see why we had a poor harvest of maize. So these are not huge, but there's something. So so what we did is we left them to dry out a little bit, and then we're gonna pack them in a sacks, hopefully deshell them a little bit and sell the seeds, dried seeds, and they use it to make like ogi, poultry feed, and all types of stuff that they use corn for. Or we sell it to them in these bags. So we're trying to negotiate what people are gonna buy these for. So we're either gonna take it to them or they're gonna come here and pick it up. So we've already had a few people come and inspect, and we're just negotiating to figure out how to get the best deal on it. So what he's trying to do now is he's negotiating with the people that want to buy the maize, and they're trying to price us down. But are they gonna come and pick it up? Of course. Would they, if we take it to them, can we charge more? Oh, okay. Okay, anyways, that's part of, you guys are experiencing it live, real life. So those are the people that want to come and grab the maize. Or we might keep it for when maize is going to be very expensive during the kind of scarce season. But anyway, so that's all what we have here. We also have a big pile somewhere else that we're gonna go store underneath the shed and have it dry up. But anyways, so I'm just giving you guys a tour of the farm today. Got all this weed. So here is also another acre that we have plowed. Ta-da! Look at how beautiful it is. Anyways, let's keep walking. Let's go check out other places of the farm. We've also cleared more areas here. So when you guys are seeing weeds, those are on the edges. You guys see this? It looks so nice when it's clear like this, and then it looks nice when it starts growing, and everything else is ugly. These are the bricks that we're manually making on site. And 90% of this stuff is from the soil, which is pretty cool, as we're trying to practice some self-sustainability stuff here. But then it uses maybe 5 to 10% of cement, depending on how strong you want it. So this is cool. Eventually we're gonna use this to build up some of the poultry house foundation, not foundation, some of the bricks of the poultry house, and then potentially a place for the staff to stay. So that's what these are. More of them here. There goes another stash. Another stash here. Lizards are playing around on it. And then more places cleared. And whenever we clear these places, the palm trees always stand out. Like this is like literally my favorite farm location, because they have random palm trees spreaded, and I love palm trees. We're also not using fertilizers. We're using chicken poop manure. So if you see these bags spread all over the farm, we're spreading them strategically throughout the farm so we can use them to enrich the soil. So those are the chicken poop. Everything, you know, what I'm learning is that I'm trying to do this integrated farming. I'm really pushing things to be as natural as we can possibly make it. But weed control, we have to employ some fertilizer, some herbicides to handle that. It's too much work. But some of the things that we can control, I'm gonna maximize it. So one of the things, instead of buying fertilizers, is we're using chicken poop, which is high in nitrogen and very, very rich for the soil. It makes them grow pretty well. So yeah, so we had to go to a local poultry because we're still working on our own poultry. We haven't kicked it off the ground yet. But yeah, so we went to a local poultry, and I think they sold us each bag for like 400 or 500 naira for each one of these bags of poop. And then I don't even know how many of them gets used on an acre. I'm still trying to track those numbers. But anyways, so that's what these bags are. So I'm doing something unique for this second planting season. What I'm gonna do is I'm getting a whole bunch of palm tree and coconut tree, orange tree, mango trees, maybe even some long-term ones like kola nut or cashew. And I'm going to line up all the edges of the farm with it. And some of the internal roads area, I'm going to line it up with fruit trees. So one thing we've learned is when we have workers here, they eat a lot of those things. So we might as well plant it. And some of them might not be ready in 2-3 years. The sooner we can start, the better. So let me show you guys something cool here. So this place we intercropped maize and cassava. So once the maize was ready, we took it out and the cassava kind of took over. I was like, what's that? And then the cassava kind of took over. So this is the cassava. This is amazing. Look at it. It's even taller than I am, and I'm 6'4". So you can still see traces of the intercrop of maize here. So these ones are growing. So we're literally, make sure, come on in. So yeah, there's a little bit of maize here. So yeah, this is like cassava fields. But once the cassava takes over, then we don't plant anymore. And also, we have less need to weed because, you know, soil needs 3 elements. Is it 3 or 2? 3. Water, sunlight, and what else? I forgot the last one, but you cannot eliminate one of them. So what this one does is it eliminates the sun at least. So then, as you guys can see underneath here, there's not a lot of weeds because the cassava leaves is covering it. So that's why I like cassava for this place, because once it's grown, then you don't actually have to weed like crazy. Maybe once, and then it does its own thing. So yeah. So just wanted to show you this, but we still need to weed just to make sure they don't get too crazy around here. So we'll come in and weed occasionally. So yeah, that's the cassava. We still see some leftover corn around there. Look at this maize. Woo! So these ones are not fruiting yet, but they're close. Actually, I do see a few here. You guys see these baby ones? So yeah, there's a few there. I don't know if I can harvest this yet. It's still very, very small, but yeah. So yeah, this is the maize fields here. Just giving you guys a tour of the farm. All right, that's D19. I forget who owns D19, but if you own D19, that's your farm. For you guys that are part of the agro park, by the way, location-wise, we're in the C block right now, okay? C1, C2, C3, C4, we're on the edge of this side. So you can get a visual of your farm. All right, guys, so now we're in the plantain section. Just a few clients did plantain last time. The ones that are a bit more long-term thinking. So yeah, so this is what the plant list looks like. So yeah, if you want to know what a beginner stage of plantains look like. But let me show you guys the one that has grown taller. Let's go check it out. So like we just went through a round of weeding and reapplying manure because they were their growth was not growing fast as we want. So we had to do a whole new operation to weed all of this place manually and apply manure individually to every plant suckers. So as you guys can see, we have some intercropping of maize in between, but we've harvested them all. So that's why you guys see these stalks over here. These ones. So these are some of the maize right here. But it was just temporary just to get some cash. And then after we get rid of this, plantain would take over the whole land. And these things, they actually grow really wide. So we try to make sure that we have like a lot of space in between 2 trees. So as you can see, just in case you're wondering why they're planted apart, you see this and that. You see these can potentially grow wider, so they need space to breathe. Let me show you guys something cool. What I love about plantain is that it's like also has multiple sources of revenue. You can obviously harvest the fruits plantain once it's out, but you see this right here? These little things right here are called suckers. So you guys can see this one is a huge one. You can literally take this out and transplant it and it will become another tree. Also these little ones right here. There's one right here. Ooh, look at that. Look at the liquid coming from there. So this is one, this is another one, this is one here. Ooh, this is one. This is one. Holy crap, this place has a lot of suckers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shoot, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I think maybe 1 or 10 right there. Holy crapola, man.
You jumped this one.
Oh, see, I even skipped one. So it looks like it's roughly about like 10. Can you guys believe it? This is how, I think what I asked was, I think for an average sucker, you typically get, I think 4 or 5. So if this has double, it lets you know how rich this particular soil was, which was the area that we left a lot of the topsoil and we dumped it here, the mustard we can spread, and I can see that, wow, that makes a huge difference. So it's all about the ROI. So whatever would, at least first priority is to get the return on investment for the investors, and then whatever else we decide from there. So yeah, so this is what an intercrop of maize and plantain looks like. So these ones probably need to be cut down and just used as mulch around. So we need to do all of that. So yeah, so they need to, or I think over time they would naturally fall. So I might just have them come in, just clear a lot of these maize stalks right here. Anyways, so these are also good to use as mulch on the ground. It'll also help improve the soil nutrients. So yeah, so now you guys have seen the plantain. I've never grew plantain before. So this is kind of cool to see, like when we planted it, it was like this, and then to come back, it's like, holy crap, it's like, it's twice my height. It's crazy. Anyways, just showing you guys a tour of the farm. So right now, everybody's just working. We're trying to weed, clear, tractor is here, produces are coming in, manure is being put down, real plantain is being planted. We're bringing a whole bunch of cassava. There's just so much going on the farm. So that's why I had to come to Nigeria and be present, because usually, as you guys know, I don't live in Nigeria full time. So usually I try to come whenever there's like the most important milestones of the project. So which means I come for the setup. I come once in the middle to make sure things are on track. And then I come back on the harvest, just till I feel completely comfortable with like our systems that we've put in place and our staffing. But I feel like this whole first year is about learning, and it's about figuring out what worked, what didn't work. And we've learned so much that our success would almost triple from the first harvest, because sometimes you cannot, no matter how much I did, I hired consultants, knowledgeable people, farmers. I'm learning that sometimes you cannot bypass the learning phase. You can shorten it. So the beautiful thing about what I did is that because of all the people that I hired, I knew enough to know when things were not going right. And I know enough now to make quick adjustments for the next cycle. So I think, so I'm still saving myself a lot of money and a lot of time by working with different people to learn as much as I can. So that way, we're fixing it on the second harvest instead of waiting for the whole year and then now tell investors stories afterwards that there's no money for them. So yeah, but this is exciting. Like, I feel like I have learned so much, guys. I've learned so much. When I first came to Nigeria, you guys are gonna laugh at me. I didn't even know what a cassava plant looked like. I don't know what cassava stem looks like. My wife is Cameroonian, so we eat a lot of cassava, so at least I knew what the roots looked like. And when I grew up in Nigeria, all I know was gari, because they didn't sell cassava in the market. I've never seen cassava in the market. It's either gari or fufu. I learned what an okra plant looked like. I kind of already know what maize looks like because they have a lot of that in Kansas. But a lot of things I didn't know what they looked like. I didn't know what a sucker was. I didn't know what a plantlet was. I didn't even know what manure to use. I didn't know what different hybrid seeds you can get. I didn't know like the different type of variety of maize you can get, the different harvest cycles, the planting cycles, the wheat cycle. But now I feel like, holy crap, because I ask a lot of questions, I know a lot about farming now. But before I was just asking, why do you guys do this way? What is the expected result? When are you supposed to do this? And watching YouTube videos, reading books, asking my friends that study agriculture at Kansas State University, asking consultants, asking farm managers, and just trying to document all of this and put it together. So hopefully all of my research and everything that I'm learning, I'm sharing with you guys just in case you guys want to go and do this. You can at least learn from my mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. And by the way, we have Agro Park Phase 2 coming up. The reason why I put a lot of people on waiting list and I didn't collect any more funds was because I feel like I wanted to master this on a smaller scale, which 50 acres is still a big scale, but I wanted to master this. Can you imagine if we had a 200-acre failure? It would be disastrous. So this was good for me to kind of like learn like the do's and the don'ts and what I should pay attention to. I'm sure I will still learn more the second cycle. I'm sure the learning is going to be forever. But every time what I can promise and gives me the comfort is to know that there is always room for improvement. So for me, I don't focus on failure or success because I don't feel like there's a finish line. I just know that there's progress. So I know that if I make this mistake, I'll learn from it and I won't make it again. And that means I learn more. And then I make another mistake, I learn it, that means I learn more. And the more mistakes that I make, the more I become an expert. And then the next time I want to do a project, I would have already known enough to reduce my margin. Maybe like my margin of error was 75% the first time. Maybe the second time it would be 50%. And maybe the third time it would be 25%. And then maybe the next time it would be 15, it would be 10. We just have to keep going. So that's the journey. I've been in business for a while, so I don't typically plan for ideal case scenarios. I try to think of the ideal so I can see the potential, but I also try to think of the worst case scenario. So as you're starting ventures like this, you have to think of like, if worst case scenario happens, can you still survive? So I've already pre-planned that as part of my strategy. So if you guys want to watch more videos about all of the lessons that I learned, click in the description below or click on the link at the top here. I'll put it. So that way you guys can watch the video and kind of see all that I've learned. I think I was writing down the notes, it's like 20 of them. But anyways, check out the video. Let me know what you think. And again, guys, thank you so much for following me on my journey to just kind of explore investment opportunities in Nigeria. And agriculture and farming is something that I've just always been interested in. So I'm living the dream. It feels good to be in nature, to like be seeing this grow. I feel like it's very spiritual. It's magical. Like I can't think of anything that brings you closer to God than nature, because it's like, it's a miracle to see things just grow, you know? So anyway, so it's been fun. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want more videos like this, I'll be shooting a few series throughout this process. Make sure to subscribe. And if you want to watch more content about Nigeria, about Lagos, about farming, about real estate investment, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click on the links below in the video, or ask any questions below underneath the video. And if you have any advice too, please feel free to share. If you're an experienced expert farmer, I'm always taking in information. So yeah, and lastly guys, remember, it's your time to rise and let your light shine. Peace.